Relax in a comfortable seated position, preferably with the bottoms of your feet up towards the ceiling. Draw the breath in through the nose and out of the mouth. And again, in through the nose, 2, 3, 4, and out of the mouth, 2, 3, 4. Close the lips and draw the breath in the same pattern through the nose and then out of the nose. Continue this cycle. Drawing from the pelvic floor, the Mula Bandha, draw the breath in all the way from the base, through the pelvis, through the stomach, through the chest, and all the way up, out the top of the head, allowing anything that you are holding that is not serving you to be released through the exhale. Allowing the transverse abdominals to wrap around in towards the belly. Uddiyana Bandha. Breathing in and out. Then drawing that breath from the heart all the way through the throat and through the top of the head. And release. In and out. At the Jalandhara Bandha, which is the base of the neck at the throat, restrict the base of the throat ever so slightly to create an ocean sound or a H sound as the breath travels through this glottis. Inhale and exhale. This breath will serve you throughout the practice, and you want to make it audible for only you to hear as you breathe in and out. Drawing the breath in from the Mula Bandha, through the Uddiyana, through the Jalandhara, rising the arms and lowering them, grabbing your left wrist, folding forward. Honoring the practice that's within you and the teachers that have come before you. Rise when you're ready. Placing your feet together, walking to the top of the mat with a soft knee, tucking the pelvis under, heart open, ribs off of the hips, shoulders open, toes up and spreading out and gripping the mat. Inhale, reaching up all the way, and exhale, extending and folding at the hips. Inhale and extend. Exhale, hop or step back. Chaturanga. Inhale, rolling over the toes, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. This first downward facing dog is just a place to find your place, to find something comfortable within your body. Sometimes bending the knees helps, arching the back ever so slightly, just slightly yet controlled, to open up the hips and having the heels reach towards the ground. Sometimes they'll reach, sometimes they won't. Exhale, bend the knees, hop towards the hands. Inhale, exhale, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, Samastiti. Again, inhale, chin up. Exhale, hinging. Inhale, extend. Exhale, hop or step back. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Staying here for 5 deep breaths, in through the nose and out through the nose. Breathing. Exhale. Bend the knees deeply and hop towards the hands. Inhale, exhale, inhale, reaching up, and exhale, Samastiti. Again, inhale, reaching the arms up, and exhale, extend. Inhale, extend, exhale, hop back. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathing here again for 5 breaths, making sure that you don't hyperextend your elbows. You arch your back ever so slightly to open up the hips, reaching the heels down towards the mat, even lifting the toes up if you'd like. Breathing deeply in the nose and out. Bend the knees, hop towards or walk towards the hands. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, Samastiti. Surya Namaskara B. Inhale, bending the knees deeply. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, extend. Exhale, hop to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Place the right foot between the hands. Inhale, reaching up. Left hip reaching towards the front. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale, left foot between the hands. Reaching up. Right hip towards the front of the mat, the top of the mat. Exhale, step back. Inhale. Exhale. Your breath is going to be a little heavier here, and that is okay. Allow the breath to continue to channel through the nose and exhale through the nose. Breathing here deeply. Bend the knees, hop towards the hands. Oops. Inhale, extend. Exhale. Inhale, bend the knees deeply. Samastiti. Again, bend the knees. Inhale. Exhale, dive. Inhale, extend. Exhale, hop back or step back. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale. Inhale, right foot forward. That left hip is reaching towards the top of the mat. Exhale. Step back. Inhale. Exhale. Left foot forward. Right heel is down. Exhale. Step back. Chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale. Again, allow the breath to find itself through the nose. Inhaling and exhaling. Opening up the hips by softening the knees and arching the back ever so slightly. Always make sure the back is flat and not completely arched. Inhale, extend. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, reaching up, bending the knees. Exhale, Samastiti. Again, one more time. Fold. Inhale. Exhale, step back. Chaturanga, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot forward. Taking the ribs up off of the hips, reaching. Exhale. Chaturanga, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot forward. Exhale, step back. Chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. When you're in the downward facing dog, always remember to pull in that Uddiyana Bandha, which is the transverse abdominals. It's not a hard belly, but it's not a belly that hangs down. It's drawn in through the Mula Bandha, your belly, and then your heart. Inhale, extend, exhale. Sweep the ground, Samastiti. Hop shoulder width apart, hands on hips. Inhale, reaching the heart up towards the ceiling. Exhale, hinging at the hips, grabbing the big toes. Inhale and extend. Exhale, you're folding forward, making sure that your wrists are nice and open and not bent like that. You want to make sure that they're more open, like you're holding a beach ball. And you're hinging at the hips here. Drawing the belly in and rolling up onto the toes, a little less weight onto the heel. Inhale, extend. Exhale, place the hands underneath the feet, hinging forward, weight into the toes. Again, you're acting as if those wrists are open and holding like a big beach ball, as if you're trying to pull your hands out from underneath your feet. Inhale and extend. Exhale, hands on hips. Slowly come up. Inhale. Exhale, feet together. Inhale, Trikonasana. Taking a big step open. Reaching out, keeping the inside nice and long. And the top of the ribs open as well. Grab a big toe. Pull up, gazing up at the hand. Pressing the heel down into the mat. Exhale, pull the Mula Bandha back up and in to help you come up, and reaching out, extending that side, and then opening up the other side towards the ceiling, grabbing the big toe, reaching up. Each pose is 5 deep breaths, aligning your neck with your spine. Exhale, coming back up. This time we're going to reverse that pose and inhale with the right arm. Exhale, reaching out. Placing the hand down on the mat and reaching the left arm up and towards the ceiling and gazing up towards that ceiling, keeping the neck in alignment with the spine. Pressing the right heel down in the mat, left toe into the mat. Inhale and come up. Reverse to the other side. Inhale with the left arm, extending out again. Pressing the left heel down into the mat, opening up both sides of the ribs. Neck is in alignment with the spine. Exhale, come up. Back to Samastiti. Big step back again, this time a little wider, so that when you bend your knee, the knee is over the ankle, reaching out just as we did in Trikonasana. But this time the knee is bent, the left shoulder's on the inside of the left knee, making sure you're not putting any weight down onto the mat with that hand. And reaching out over the head and gazing up to the soft part of the arm. Exhale, reverse. Reaching out again before coming down. Nice long left side like a ski slope, making sure the hand is not on the mat and making that elbow and knee connection of a twist, twisting at the ribs. Exhale, coming up. We're going to reverse this pose just like we did with Trikonasana. Inhale, exhale. You can come down on the knee if you would like. First version, placing that elbow or shoulder on the outside of the left knee. Or the second version is you can come up on the toe, inhale, and exhale, reaching that right shoulder as much as you can on the outside of the left knee. Twisting, looking up towards the ceiling, having a nice long right leg. You can also open up the arms to get an even deeper twist, and you're making sure that you're twisting at the ribs, not necessarily at the waist. Release, coming up. Taking the other side, inhale with the left arm. Exhale, coming down. Version 1 on the knee. You're welcome to do either version that helps support your practice. Or the second version. One side is going to be more open than the other. Don't be discouraged. Don't be confused. Do what you need to do that complements and nurtures your body. Breathing here, getting the belly up and off of the thigh. Inhale and come up. Back to Samastiti. Do a little adjustment here. All good. Back to Samastiti. Taking a big step back with that left foot, hands on hips, toes turned in slightly. Inhale, open up the heart, lift the chin. Exhale, coming down, placing the hands down onto the mat. Inhale and extend. Exhale, folding forward and hinging. Breathing here, drawing the belly up and in, making sure that the knees are soft and you're not hyperextending at all those knees. Your hands are coming up to your waist. Inhale very slowly. Exhale. Inhale, open up the arms. Exhale, hands on hips. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, hinging, keeping the hands on the hips right now the whole time. Breathing here, drawing the belly up and in, making the weight into the toes, shifting that weight into the toes and breathing. Inhale, come up slowly. Exhale, extend the arms. Inhale, open the heart, interlace the fingers behind the back, making sure the wrists are reaching towards one another. Exhale, hinging forward. And once you find that hinge forward, make sure that you roll those shoulders back. Don't have them up and towards your ears. Have a nice loose neck. And you can reach those arms a little bit closer to the ground if it's in your practice to open up the shoulders. Inhale and come up. Exhale. Inhale, open up the heart. Exhale, hands on hips. Inhale. And exhale, hinging one last time. You can grab the outside edges of your feet, or you can grab your big toes. Inhale and extend. Exhale. Oh, you want to make sure that your wrists are not broken either. They're nice and open. Inhale and extend. Exhale, bending forward, making sure those elbows are reaching up and towards the ceiling. Your head is reaching down towards the ceiling. Belly is up and in. Knees are soft. Nice opening of the hips and hamstrings. Inhale, come up very slowly. Exhale. Inhale, back to Samasthiti. Taking a step backwards, but first you can put your palms together behind your shoulder blades, in between your shoulder blades. Do fists at the base of your back, or you can grab your elbows. The point of it is to make sure that the shoulders are rolled back and opening the heart. Take a big step back. Inhale and exhale, hinging forward. Now, this isn't a forward fold where we're trying to make sure that we can get our forehead to our shin. This is a forward fold that we are shifting that right hip back. We're having a nice long spine. And we're just trying to hinge and reach our belly button and our chest before our forehead. Inhale, come up. And exhale, hinging at the hips, shifting the left hip back. Inhale and adjust if needed, making sure that the spine is in alignment with the neck. Opening the shoulders up, reaching the chest, the belly towards the thigh. Inhale, come up. Exhale, release the hands back to Samasthiti. Inhale and exhale, forward hinge. Inhale, exhale, hop or step back to Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hop towards the hands. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, Samasthiti. So one variation you can make on this next posture is to take the wall and put your opposite hand on your hip. So if your hand is on your hip, put that hand on the wall if you need wall support. Take the other hand and grab the corresponding leg or toe and extend it out in front of you. If a full extension is not available, you're more than welcome to bend the knee. Inhale, forward fold. Exhale, come up. And then open up that right leg out and towards the opposite wall. Back to center line. Release everything except the leg, extending it out in front of you. And release. Coming to the other side, if you need the wall, instead of placing your hand on the hip, place your hand on the wall. Inhale, grabbing the opposite leg, and forward fold for 5 breaths. Inhale and come up. Open up that leg by rotating it and shifting the hip back down, gazing over the right shoulder if your left leg is extended. And release. holding the leg up, and shake it all out. All right, you're welcome to use the wall again here. This time we are going to take the right leg, bring it up, keeping the knee closed. You want to make sure that when you bend a knee and rotate it, you want to make sure that knee is bent first before you rotate to protect the knee. Draw the ankle up and over towards the left hip. Inhale, reaching that right arm up and dipping that shoulder down. You can either grab that left elbow or go ahead and grab the right toe. Reach the opposite arm up and exhale, folding forward. When you're in this forward fold, it's not about trying to fold completely, but to get that knee close to the other knee, the bent knee close to the straight knee, and then to, in your mind, push back that right knee. Inhale, come up and extend out. Samastiti. Taking it to the other side, lift the left leg up, open up the hip, keeping the knee nice and closed. Bring that left ankle up and towards the right hip. Inhale the opposite arm, either grabbing the toe or the elbow. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, folding forward, reaching the knee close to the lengthened knee, as well as reaching that bent knee towards the back of the room, opening up the hip, breathing deeply. Inhale and come all the way up. Release and exhale. Samastiti. Up to the top of the mat. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale and exhale, stepping back or hopping back to chaturanga. Whatever is in your practice. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right foot forward. Inhale, reaching up, making sure that left hip is reaching towards that door that's in front of me, so the top of your mat. Staying here, gazing up at your hands, lifting your chin up, protecting the back of your neck, lifting the ribs up off of the hips. Reverse to the other side, making sure that right heel is down into the mat. You're wrapping that left thigh out and towards that lotus wall. Exhale, make a longer stance this time. Mind you, I'm 5'11" and I still haven't used all of my mat, so go ahead and use all this space up as much as you would like. Reverse the pose, having a bent knee gazing over the same arm as the bent knee, having both hips facing the front of the room. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, stepping back. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Hop. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale and exhale, come back down to a seated position. Here, you're going to find those sit bones, those bony parts that can find the floor. If you have to move some flesh out of the way, you can. Grab the floor, the mat, and drag your hands. Chuck the chin under, open the shoulders up. Inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhale, grabbing the toes. Inhale, extend. Exhale, hinging forward. Making sure that you are keeping your neck in alignment with your spine. Rolling the shoulders back. Inhale, extend, grab the outside edges of the feet. Exhale, fold forward. Breathing here continually through the nose and out of the nose. Make adjustments where you need to. Draw the belly up and in without making it hard. Taking that right or left wrist, grabbing it with the other hand, extending out over the toes. Inhale, extend. Exhale, roll the shoulders back. Having a deeper, longer stretch. Breathing in and breathing out. Release the hold. Drag the hands behind you. You have two variations here. One is coming up to tabletop, making sure that that neck is in alignment with the spine, staying here for 5 breaths. Or version 2 is to come up on the toes, reaching the toes towards the mat, making sure the neck is in alignment with the spine, that your elbows are not locked. It looks like mine are, but they're actually not. They're actually soft. I just have hypermobility in my arms. Cross at the ankle. And what we call this is a vinyasa. Hop back, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. Breathing here and jumping to a seated position again. Getting back onto those sit bones. Grab the right leg, close the knee, take the ankle over to the left side. Inhale, wrap the arm around, grabbing the foot. Inhale and exhale, hinging forward, making sure that that knee is reaching down towards the ground. Grabbing the left foot, inhale and extend. Exhale, hinge forward. You want to make sure that you can also have a second variation, which is grabbing the elbow and folding forward. This is not a competition of availability and flexibility. It's just knowing where your body is and being able to nurture it and complement it wherever it is. If you do have an injury in the knee, sometimes placing a bandana in that knee bend helps. You can also place the ankle right at the top of the left thigh, right in the middle of that left thigh, and fold forward without having to have a hyper extended knee. Same thing other side. Inhale, reaching the left arm up. Exhale, wrapping around and folding forward. One side may be more available than the other. Just take notice of it. Give yourself a lot of grace in your space. Inhale, come out of the bind, shake it off. Taking that top of the right foot, placing it down onto the mat, or we can show you the left. Making sure that both of the sit bones are down on the mat. Looks like we're going right first. Inhale, grabbing that right wrist. So whatever knee is bent is the wrist you grab. Inhale and then exhale, hinging at the hips. You don't want to completely roll over onto that left leg. You want to make sure that you're trying to always get that weight evenly distributed into the top of the right foot as well. Reverse the pose. Left foot is on the top of the mat. Inhale, grabbing the left wrist this time, making sure the hips are even. You can always do a variation of putting a blanket underneath the right hip to help the hips become even if they're not even. And you can do that on the other side as well. You always want to make sure the hips are aligned and even, not one higher than the other. Inhale, exhale, take vinyasa. This time you want to be able to find your heel and sit on it in a comfortable place. Now, some of us, it's not super comfortable, but get and work at it. Get at it to where you can get to a place that's comfortable and you're just simply folding forward, sitting on that heel. And let's take the other side. Breathing in and out, drawing the belly up and in, creating resistance between the hands and the feet. Inhale and come up. This time you want to take the flat, the bottom part of your right foot, place it on the inside of the thigh. Inhale and then exhale, hinge forward. Breathing deeply, pressing the right bent knee down onto the mat. Reverse the pose. Taking the flat part of that foot, inhale and exhale onto that thigh. The toes are curled under onto the mat. This really opens up our soleus, which is underneath our gastrocnemius, which is our calf muscles. And let's take a vinyasa. Inhale and exhale. Taking the right knee, bending it deeply, having space between the thigh and the foot. Come in the middle of that space, inhale, reaching out. Exhale, dipping the right shoulder down, grabbing that wrist, and forward folding. Trying to reach that right hip down on the ground. You're creating an openness within the hips. And let's take it to the other side. Inhale, exhale. Always making sure you're breathing. Shift that left hip down towards the mat. Your hips are aligned at this point. The left hip might be a little bit higher. And come out of the position and take a vinyasa. Taking that left leg, bending the knee first, then sweeping the left ankle over to the right hip. Bringing the right leg up. Inhale and exhale after wrapping that left arm around the right knee. This is more of an advanced version. If you'd like to not put the left foot into that right hip, just scooch that left foot underneath the right bend of the right knee. So I'll show you here on the other side. If you don't want to put your foot there in your hip, you can untwist that and place the foot in between the heel and the hip of the left leg. Inhale and exhale, folding forward. These are great hip openers here. Also helps open up the quad, the quadriceps. Taking vinyasa. Coming into seated position again. This time we're going to incorporate our twists. This is a great way to flush out our lymphatic systems, especially during this interesting season of life and winter, and it's good to be able to flush out our lymphatic system no matter what time of year it is. Creating a twist to where you can get that left shoulder or elbow on the outside of the right knee and then reaching towards the other hand, just making sure you're not resting your hand behind your back. Taking the weight off of that hand that's down on the mat. Twist. Now lift the hand up off the mat and gaze behind you. Breathing deeply. Twisting just at the ribs, release, and taking another vinyasa. As you notice, we take vinyasas between each posture. Keeps the blood moving, keeps our body warm. Finding a comfortable seated position again. Taking that left knee bent. Again, if you don't want to put that ankle into the right hip, you can just put it between the heel, the right heel and hip. We're twisting here as well. Finding the twist is placing that left elbow or shoulder on the outside of the right knee and taking it to the other side. Creating a deeper stretch, a deeper twist in this particular position. If you have availability, you can always dip that arm down and reach towards the other hand. Gazing behind you, twisting at the ribs. And unbind and release. Taking a vinyasa. And downward facing dog. Inhale and extend. All right, so We have our feet more than shoulder width apart right now, and you are getting your shoulders on the backs of the knees, and then placing your hands down onto the mat, letting your sit bones come down towards the mat, balance and bhuja, coming back up and going into Titivasana, and then coming back into a Chaturanga. My lower back starts feeling a little funky at this point in the practice, so you may see me come down on my knees here and there just to help alleviate any kind of tension that I'm creating. I want to make sure I nurture my lower back and take care of it from my injury about a year ago. Again, having your feet shoulder width apart, getting the shoulders underneath those knees, behind the knees. And then I like to come down into my Karmasana like this, but you can always get your shoulders underneath your knees without coming down into Karmasana from your feet. You can be seated and get your shoulders underneath your knees from a seated position. Extend the heels out, flexing the feet. Extending the legs over the shoulders. Breathing here for 5 breaths. And then working the heels and towards one another, squeezing the knees into the shoulders, and now the bottoms of your feet are together or your ankles can be stacked. You can also grab the hands that are behind you if it's in your practice, placing the hands down onto the mat, lifting the feet up, and coming up into Titivasana. And hopping back into Chaturanga. It's a lot of forward folding from my little back, so I've got to take care of it, but go into Chaturanga and go into upward facing dog and downward facing dog. Good job. Good job, Claudine. Good job, you guys. Giving my back a little bit of a break here. Jumping in to a seated position again. This time we get to channel our 8-year-old self into coming into a lotus position. Reaching your hands within your lotus position as much as you can. The goal is to get those hands in prayer position or over your face, and then rocking 9 times back and forth, preferably in a circle. Today I'm just going back and forth. Breathing in and out, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, hold it. And if you can come up off of your bum, good for you. If not, that is okay. Whatever is in your practice. And going into Chaturanga. If you want to come in from a folded position like this, place the elbows into the ribs in your Chaturanga to hop out. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, back to a seated position. Bring the feet, the bottoms of the feet together, making sure your sit bones are onto the mat. Extending the spine, folding forward. Hinging just at the hips, keeping a nice long extension. We're not trying to round the back out right now. We're trying to keep that back nice and long and extended. This time we can tuck the pelvis under, round out the back, and reach the forehead towards the feet to open up the space in between each vertebrae. Inhale and come up. Going ahead and taking that left foot over the right ankle in case you've been wrapping that right ankle over the left in your vinyasas. Taking a chaturanga, upward facing dog, and a downward facing dog. Hopping through to a seated position again. And getting adjusted. Making sure that you can reach those ankles out to a 90-degree angle. Extending out in front of you with a nice long spine. Grabbing the big toes and doing a forward fold here. Making sure that you have your heels digging down into the floor, and it's not just a lazy forward fold, but it's an intentional one. Inhale, release the feet, and reach the toes up towards the hands, and extend out in front of you. Lower the feet, forward fold, and we're going to take a vinyasa. Hopping through to seated again. Taking the time here to forward fold again with a 90-degree angle of feet. Grab the toes, and we're going to roll back here. Inhale, and then exhale, coming back onto the toes, making sure that you're on your shoulders and not your neck, lifting your chin up to make space behind the neck. And then come back to your sit bones and forward fold. And let's take a vinyasa. Breathing with each movement, taking care of any ailments that you might have, coming through to a seated position. And go ahead and grab your big toes, forward fold. Grab those toes, coming up onto the sit bones, and we're going to roll back again, making sure that you breathe here. Chin is up, relieving the neck, and then coming back up on the exhale, keeping a balance, holding your toes, and now releasing and lowering, taking a vinyasa again. Channeling our 8-year-old again. If you're younger, just keep channeling that. This time we're going to grab the outside edges of the feet. We're going to balance up on those sit bones again and grab the outside edges of the feet and roll back again. Staying here for 5 breaths. These inversions are also great for the lymphatic system. And then we come back up. Sometimes it might take more than one try. And we get as close to our forehead to our shin as possible, balancing here. And lower. Good job. Taking care of my lower back, slowly going into my chaturangas, nurturing my upward facing dogs. Coming back to a seated position, bringing the ankles close to the heels, close to the hips, and lifting up. Interlacing the fingers behind you. Coming back down, coming back up, reaching the hip bones up and towards the ceiling, opening up the chin, keeping the neck open, protecting the neck. And coming back down. Bring the knees to the chest, rock back and forth, whatever you need to be doing here to nurture your lower back. We're going to do it one more time. It's almost like a version of a back bend. So if your back bend is not in your practice, you can go ahead and stay there. Or you can go into a full wheel, full back bend. I have been working on my back bend since my injury, and this is where I am, and I'm very happy with it. We've been working a while to get to this place. If your back bend is in your practice, go ahead and do that for 5 full breaths, and then come back down. Bring your knees to your chest and rock back and forth, and come on up. Now, we are going to go back into, guess what? Another vinyasa, keeping the body warm, resetting between each position, staying in alignment with our bodies. Forward fold to take the stress out of the lower back from the back bend. Breathing here. The point here is just to release that lower back. Continuing to breathe, continuing to release. Coming back up. Here you're going to go ahead and lower down. Please be careful with your neck. If you have a previous neck injury and are not comfortable about coming up and doing a shoulder stand, you are more than welcome to do happy baby here. Just rolling back and forth, opening up the hips. You can also do a variation of lifting the hips up and towards the ceiling and back down without completely resting. Just going up and down. Coming up a little bit on that shoulder. A second version is the shoulder stand. Coming up completely on those shoulders. Making sure the toes are touching the ground. Your chin is up, being released from the floor. The neck is off the floor. Go ahead and reach the feet up and towards the ceiling, making sure that the ankles are over the hips, that are over the shoulders. You can use your hands to support your lower back. Continue lifting up that chin, wrapping the Uddiyana Bandha around into the belly, squeezing the thighs together, making your legs very strong as if you're standing in Samasthiti. You can then exhale and lower the feet down on towards the ground, but you're hovering those toenails up onto the floor. Interlace the fingers behind you and extend the arms down into the mat. Staying here for 5 breaths and then bending the knees deeply. This is very important to have a reminder about the neck, reaching the chin up and towards the ceiling, letting the knees fall down onto the mat. If it's in your practice, you can come up and come into lotus, or you can cross your ankles. And staying here, reaching towards the knees where the knees and the hands meet and they're creating resistance towards one another, and you are balancing on your shoulders again in a lotus position. You can allow the knees to fall down towards your ears and give yourself a great big hug and a congratulations of what a great job you did in your shoulder stand. Again, reaching that chin up and towards the ceiling. After 5 breaths, you can release the hands, let them come down onto the mat, supporting yourself as you roll down onto the mat very slowly in a controlled way. Staying in the lotus position, letting the knees fall down into the ground, coming up on the elbows and having the top of the head come to the mat, arching the back, reaching the heart up and towards the ceiling, and grabbing the toes, reaching the chin up and out. Chest up towards the ceiling, pressing the knees down into the mat. Then releasing and extending the legs out in front of you. Press your palms together. And lowering very slowly everything down onto the mat. Bring the knees in. Give yourself a great big hug. Massage the back a little bit. Rocking back and forth. You can go into happy baby if that helps relieve any tension. Play around here just to relieve any kind of back tightness. And then coming back up to a seated position. Getting comfortable, getting the sit bones up and onto that mat so you have a nice, comfortable seated position. Here, version 1, we're coming into a headstand. Interlace the fingers. Make sure that your elbows are close together, a little less than shoulder width apart, In my variations video, I talk a lot about how to go into a headstand. So please, if you'd like to pause this video and go into the variations video, please do so. You're pressing your forearms into the mat and you're pressing in to the elbows, engaging the pectoralis muscles. You're not sinking into that headstand. You're pressing down to where your pecs engage, as well as your shoulder muscles. And if it's in your practice and when you're ready, you can come up into that headstand. Again, your elbows are close. They're a little bit less than shoulder width apart. You're pressing the weight into the forearms. You also could possibly lift that head up if it's in your practice because you're not necessarily on your head. Making sure the ankles are over the toes. The ankles are over the knees, which are over the hips. Breathing here. Drawing the belly in. You can go ahead and hinge very slowly. You're welcome to pause here or come all the way down, making sure the head stays down to help allow the blood to circulate equally throughout the body. Taking your time. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Jumping through to a seated position, coming into lotus, or you can cross your ankles and come into a seated position that's comfortable for you. Wrapping those arms around the back, reaching for the toes. Inhale, open the heart. Exhale, fold forward. We're closing our practice now, grounding ourselves. Breathing still. This time, unwrap the arms and bring the tops of the hands, mainly the wrists, onto the knees. You have strong arms that are connecting to the strong wrists to the knees. Then inhale, lift yourself up, holding for at least 10 breaths, hollowing out the belly, engaging the chest, lifting up, hovering above the mat, and breathing and release. You can also come out of your lotus position into a chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Come into many people's most favorite position, which is Shavasana. And here, completely release. There's no more in and out breath. There's no more movement. Shavasana is also known as dead man's pose, so if this sounds good to you, fall into it. Allow the floor to lift you up and to support you. Start at the top of the head. Release any tension that you may be holding in your head, your eyes, your forehead, your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, all the way out to the fingertips, your heart, your stomach. Release the hips. You may be holding your legs. See if you can just release those legs. Allow the sensation to come back to your fingertips and toes and extend from head to toe like a cat. And then roll to one side. Continue to have your eyes closed and relaxing. Rest your head on the inside of the arm. Come back up to a seated position. Press the palms together. Grab the left wrist, fold forward, giving thanks to the space, to this time, and the teacher that's within you that has guided you through this practice. Thank you for practicing. Namaste.